What are they? They are daughter's dialogue, I broke it myself, and the mother's dialogue, oh dear, be careful, you'll injure yourself. Our matter of discussion in this sentence is myself. But before we start with the discussion of myself in detail, we can just search for the subject and the object in this sentence. What's the subject in this sentence? Let's check. The subject is I. Why I became subject here? Then we have to search for the action in this sentence. What's the action referred to in the sentence? It is broke. Who did that action? I. I broke it. So I did the action and so I became the subject in this sentence. Then what's the object? Object is it. Why it became object in this sentence? Because I did the action broke and the effect of the action was received by this object it. So it became object. The effect, the receiver of the effect of the action is the object of a sentence. So it is the object in this sentence. It actually refer to, it is a pronoun. It actually referred to the glass. You have to remember the first dialogue went on between the mother and the daughter. It actually means the glass, but the daughter in her dialogue she used it, the word it instead of glass. So we have to treat in this particular sentence it as the object. So we found out subject of the sentence, object of the sentence, and the action, verb, action of the sentence. Then what is this myself? Uh, we can see that the word myself helps us to understand that the action is done by nobody else other than I. I did the action. I is the person who did the action. Nobody else did that action. That forcing is applied with the help of this word myself. So that is the purpose of the word myself, means the second dialogue of the mother. Now we can move on to the second dialogue of mother. Oh dear, be careful, you will injure yourself. As we did with the previous sentence, here also our focus is to the self-added word yourself. Before moving on to the details of yourself, these expressions, oh dear, be careful, they seem totally unnecessary in this context. So we can just hide them. Now we can read the sentence as you will injure yourself. As we did with the previous sentences, first of all, we have to find out the subject and object of the sentence. What's the subject in this sentence? It is you. And what's the object in this sentence? It is yourself. How? We'll check it. As a first step, find out the verb in this sentence. What's the verb in this sentence? Yes, you're right. It is will injure. Will injure is the action word in this sentence. Now ask yourself the question, who will injure? Who will do this action will injure? You'll get the answer, you. So we can come to the conclusion that you is the subject in this sentence. Now coming to yourself, or we are going to test what's the object in this sentence. You will injure whom? Or who will receive the effect of the action will injure done by you? If you ask these kinds of questions, you'll get the answer yourself. So we can come immediately to the conclusion yourself is the object in this sentence. We dealt with sentences in which there were different subjects and different objects. Means the subjects were different persons and objects were different persons or things. But in this sentence, you're going to see a wonderful thing. Here, the subject and the object are the same person. Look, you is yourself, and vice versa, yourself is you. Isn't it an interesting fact? Look, it's a wonderful thing. Subject and object are the same here. Are similar to that sentence or that dialogue of the daughter. We can check one by one. I'll build the house myself. What does it mean? I will not allow anybody else to build the house. I will not allow anybody else. I will not allow my brother. I will not allow my friends. I will not allow my neighbors or anybody else to build that house. I'll do it myself. Emphasizing, adding force. Coming to the second sentence, we'll watch the match ourselves. We'll watch the match ourselves. It is nobody else. It is we are going to watch it. We'll watch the match ourselves. Next to the third sentence. You yourself can find out the truth. Again, adding force. You yourself. If you search for it, you yourself can find out the truth. You don't want to trust anybody else's words. You don't want to pay attention to what others tell. If you search for it, you yourself can find out the truth. Next sentence, the fourth sentence, we saw the film star himself. Ritu herself told us it. Words, this self or self-added words that we use to add force to the action of the subject. What are they called in English? They are called emphatic pronouns. Adding emphasis. They are called emphatic pronouns. I fed myself. Fed means past tense of feed. So I fed myself means it is I the subject there and action is fed. I fed whom? Myself. Here we can see the wonder once again. The subject and the object are the same person. I and myself are the same person. Here the self-added word stands in the position of object. Here it is not its function to add force, but it stands in the position of object. Second sentence, Nina reads to herself. Nina, subject. Reads, action. To is a preposition. Reads to whom? Herself. Object. The person who does the action and the person who receives the effect of the action are the same. So subject and object are the same here. Nina and herself are the same person. Both the words refer to the same person. Coming to the third sentence. They bought themselves new dress. They bought themselves. They, subject. Bought, action word. They bought new dress. One more, it's also an object. We are not focusing on that now. It will confuse you. So just concentrate on themselves, please. They bought new dress. For whom? Themselves. So they do the action here, bought, or did the action here, bought. And who received the effect of the action, bought? Themselves. So themselves stands in the position of object here. And once again we can say that they and themselves are same persons. Let me repeat once more. We are avoiding the new dress now, because if I tell something about that now, it will definitely confuse you, so we can ignore it for the time being. We are just focusing on self and selves words. Coming to the fifth sentence, Hari helped himself to clean the house. Hari helped himself. Hari helped whom? Himself. Subject and object are the same person. Last sentence, we have to blame ourselves for it. Learn the forms of reflexive and emphatic pronouns, because there are slight differences when they become singular and when they become plural. If we don't know those forms thoroughly well, there are chances to commit mistakes. So it's of course important in using our language comfortably. My plus self is equal to myself. That word is familiar to almost all of us. Next word may be creating a little confusion. Our plus self is equal to ourselves. Please notice the spelling. In the first my plus self, it was myself. Here, when it comes to our plus self, it's ourselves. The pronoun you, when it's used as singular, singular means when we use you to refer to one person, and if we add self to it, it will be yourself. You have to be careful about the spellings, yourself. But when we use the pronoun you as the plural, when we add self to it, it will become yourselves. Please notice the spelling again. Coming to he plus self, it's himself. Her plus self, it's herself. It plus self, also it's itself. But when it comes to them plus self, once again it turns to be themselves. Spelling. Themselves. Thing we should know about the reflexive pronoun is reflexive pronouns can never be used as subjects of sentences. Which is the correct sentence? Check it. Rajini and I went. First, we are going to deal with the first sentence. Rajini and I went to the park. Here, what's the action? What's the action word? Went. Who did the action? Rajini and I. So the person or persons who did the action can be called the subject of the sentence. So we can see Rajini and I, both Rajini and I are the subject of that particular sentence. Rajini and I went to the park. Now we can come to the second sentence. Rajini and myself went to the park. Here also, just ask ourselves the question, which is the action word here? Went. Who went? Who did the action? Rajini and myself. So once again we can come to the conclusion that Rajini and myself did the action. So Rajini and myself are the subject of the sentence. Just now we learned we cannot use self forms in the position of subject. They can only appear as object of a sentence. So, is it correct to use Rajini and myself? Absolutely not, because myself cannot be used in the position of subject. So, which is the correct sentence? Of course, it is Rajini and I went to the park. We cannot use myself there. We can use only I there. And the sentence Rajini and myself went to the park is absolutely wrong. Our selves forms and find out if they are reflexive or emphatic pronouns. This is your task in this video. As I told you, please subscribe to my channel. After subscribing, a bell icon will appear. Tap on it. You can see 3 options. Please select the option All from that. Then you will start to receive notifications of my newly uploaded videos. And also, if you like my video, please give the video a like. Also, please share it with the maximum of your friends and relatives. And please give your suggestions, valuable suggestions, as comments.